Hello everyone, this is Chris, and villages are by far some of the most frequent and worthwhile structures inside the game. Whether it be for the wheat, for the blacksmiths, or for whatever, they are always a worthwhile thing to head to. And today's seed has quite a few number of different types of villages that is definitely worth heading to. We will of course be heading to them eventually, but first off, let's talk about the spawn point, which is pretty much right here, right on the edge of a pretty decently sized mountain with all your goats and stuff like that. And also on the other side, you also get quite a decent number of forests too, so easy quantities of wood if you ever need a bulk supply of wood. But of course, this place doesn't have any villages by spawn, because the first village you're actually gonna want to head to is actually just a little bit off the side of the spawn point, which is just right here, just right by a pillager outpost. And as you can see, this one is especially worthwhile because it has two different blacksmiths inside of it. Unfortunately, this is one of the oh so frequent dead villages, which means you don't get any of the villagers or anything like that. But to have two blacksmiths right off the bat, right not too incredibly far from the spawn, I'd say is a pretty worthwhile place to start at. Okay, I did say there were plenty of different types of villages worth heading to. This one right here, I don't think I can quite make the same argument. Because if we look around, we could just see, first off, it's a dead village, and second off, like, it's not really anything too special. Apart from getting maybe some wheat or something like that, this one isn't necessarily the most exciting one in the world. But one village that is kind of exciting is actually this one right here, because this village right here is actually sort of the center points for quite a few different types of interesting things. But first off, this one also happens to have a blacksmith, so even more reasons to head to. But yeah, these things surrounding this one singular village is first off, just over there, you might be able to see it. There's actually a savanna mountain right there, but I don't think I could quite call this a savanna mountain, more a savanna sky island type thing. I don't know exactly what to call this thing, but yeah, in case you want, I guess, floating mountains, then definitely make your way over here, I guess. But heading yourselves this way from the one village, you will see this one ravine, which honestly is very interesting, because we first off get the floating broken water. Somehow, no matter how long it takes me, I always happen to find more types of broken water, and this seed is no exception. But something else that is no exception is what's below the broken water, which is an amethyst geode right here. So yeah, in case you want some amethyst clusters or some spyglasses or something like that, then this is definitely the ravine to head to. But something else that is worth heading to is the other section of the ravine. Yeah, because there was this one swamp river right here, that means that this one ravine actually managed to get cut off, which is well, a blessing or a curse, however you want to see it. But what is a pretty neat blessing, if you want to call it that, is this exposed fossil right here. Yeah, don't really see exposed fossils too often, but because this ravine happened to spawn in the exact same place a fossil managed to spawn in, manages to make this very exposed amount of bone blocks. Yeah, pretty easy supply of bones if you ever need a bulk supply of them. Heading out from the one village we were just at, we come across this incredible looking dark oak forest terrain, because yeah, you don't really happen to see too many I guess dark oak forest mountains. But yeah, this seed has an exception, because yeah, it has some really interesting types of terrain, especially for a 1.17 terrain. Like, it's a pretty hilly compared to some of the other places in this seed. And heading past the Dark Oak Mountains, we come across I think something I'd like to call the village sanctuary, because we get this one village right here with another blacksmith right there. We get another village over there, which unfortunately doesn't seem to have any blacksmiths to be seen. But also we get this one village over here, which yeah, just so happens to just barely be able to spawn right on the Dark Oak Mountains, which means we kind of get this sort of I guess slight mountainous village type terrain thing we could kind of see right here. And yeah, it's just an interesting thing to always see. Like, villagers always happen to spawn on top of slightly hillier terrain. It always makes it just a little bit more interesting when traversing around these. Oh, and I completely missed this, but also inside this roof forest mountain area, you also get a rune portal right here. But something I won't miss is when we go the opposite direction of this one outpost we had to, because if we head past this one swamp we saw in the distance earlier on, then we will eventually come across this Badlands Mountain. And not only do we have this Badlands Mountain right here, we also happen to get yep, you guessed it, another village. And I think out of all the villages on this seed, this one is by far the most noteworthy one to head to. Because if we head over here, you might notice there's quite a substantial number of buildings and structures you might be interested in. Yeah, there is 4 distinct blacksmiths inside of this one Plains village, and I don't think that's like the most we've ever found. I believe we found like 8 in a single village, but I think this is personally the most I've ever found inside of a Plains village, to have like 4 singular like blacksmiths all in one singular Plains village though. Like that's like unheard of. I don't think I've ever heard of any sort of numbers like that in terms of Plains villages. And much like most of the other villages I showed off today, there's some interesting things near on the villages, and I'm not just talking about this one Badlands. I'm also talking about this one ravine, which just so happened to have an exposed mineshaft in it. So yeah, exposed mineshafts are always an interesting thing to stumble across. It makes finding things inside of them much easier, and also makes finding things such as I don't know, another amethyst shield that much easier too. Like, to have another one right here, pretty easy, and another one, I guess, sort of linked onto a ravine. I don't know if I could call that a coincidence or not, but it's certainly an interesting thing to stumble across. And something else that's interesting inside this one biome is this one rune portal right here. And you know what? Let's use this one and actually see what type of nether spawn we actually get. Okay, so you spawn inside of one of these biomes, the Basalt Delta, but at least you spawn, like, on the edge of one, because, like, you know, spawning, like, right in the center of one of these biomes is always gonna be a tricky situation to get out of, but, the fact that you spawn in at least on the edge of them makes it a little less troublesome. Heading back into the overworld, you might want to head over to, these corners right here, because over here we get ourselves another village right here, and another rune portal. I didn't realize there were so many of them, but yeah, this village is actually a pretty rare commodity to have. It might not seem like that, but because of the Badlands or the Mesa, there's always going to be, I guess, a desert biome in between that biome and this biome, or at least like most biomes. So that means we have this sliver of desert right here, which means, yeah, we have the most unlikely chance of a village to happen actually managed to happen. And once again, much like the other villages I showed off, there's always something extra on top of this one, or in this case, below this one, because this actually is the village that actually spawned in the stronghold and the end portal room. So yeah, another rare commodity on top of that. The fact that we have the most unlikely village to have the stronghold underneath it is an even more rarer commodity than even I would have thought to have. So I guess if you're in the mood to get yourself a whole bunch of villager related things, and some rare ones at that, then yeah, this is the seed you're gonna want to check out. But yeah, for now, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all later.